wind coming through the studio because these people are also fast. Joining us in the studio this morning, we got Soh Rui Yong as well as Shaun Goh. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
So these two gentlemen here are national athletes. Quick introduction. Soh Rui Yong, of course, is current national record holder in 6 categories. Just the 6, my goodness. Also a 2-time SEA Games gold medalist. And Shaun Goh is a national representative. It was at the SEA Games as well. Actually started off as a basketballer before moving into athletics.
So this is true.
Yes. We'll find out a little bit more. But they're both here because we've got the Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon coming up this weekend. Of course, that happens always in the first weekend of December. That's a marathon that we've had for now, 20 over years. And it's also going to be involved with the Singapore National Championships are going to be taking part, which you guys are going to be involved in as well, right? So, guys, first of all, thank you for coming down. I know you've got busy training schedules, and you've flown in as well for this as well, Rui Yong. So, fantastic to have you with us. As national athletes, like, how important is this marathon in your competition schedule, Rui Yong?
Yeah, Singapore Marathon. So it's the biggest race of the year. So I think it holds a special significance for every single runner in Singapore, be it hobby jogger, competitive runner. It's something that we all look forward to every year. So the marathon does a good job of putting on a spectacle. And this year they've entered to the next level. We finished at the National Stadium. So that's extremely cool.
So normally it finishes near the Padang.
Yeah.
Right, near City Hall, the old City Hall, right? And now...
Yeah, I've done it 3 times in the past. So the first time was at the Padang. The next 2 were at the floating platform.
Right.
Yeah.
So now it's a nice way to end it. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, is the scenery something you think about as you're running? It's like, I like going past this.
Yeah.
It is? Does it factor into your run, or you're like so focused?
Shaun, you want to take the question?
I mean, usually we are running at like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning,
Exactly.
so it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
We are like in our own world. It almost feels like a fever dream, you're running.
Yeah.
Like, on the streets, on the highways.
That being said, it's not often you can run on the streets in Singapore without a car horning at you. So, like having everything closed and running on the is it the which highway are we running on? The CT.
You're going to go up the ECP, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
One way, and then you go down towards Benjamin Sheares Bridge, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a nice route.
That's what it used to be, anyway.
That's a nice route.
City lights. So you basically run starting in the morning. You run until the sun comes up. So it's pretty transformative experience.
This is the real
Pretty cool
night
stuff.
race, right? This is the real night race, not the other one. This is
Because for a layperson like me, I'm just casual jogger. The scenery is very important. All right, so how does it feel to have the national championship return after a hiatus since 2019?
I might have to defer to Rui Yong on this one because I
haven't done it before.
I have not done it before.
Yes, good point.
Okay, so I mean, national championship was launched in 2017. I thought it was fantastic. This is a platform that allows Singapore to spot who's the next up and coming runners, right? Like you're not looking at 1, 2, 3, looking at 1 through 10. It's exciting to win win a position in the top 10, and then try and work your way up. And it's there every single year, so there's something for everyone to shoot for. And then it got put on hiatus because of COVID, and the last 3 years, I mean, it's just not the same. Last year we had the Standard Chartered Marathon. I don't think it was anywhere near the same level of
the numbers as well.
Coming off from COVID and also no national championship, so I think the buzz was just not there. This year it seems to be returning, and it's exciting to see Shaun doing his first national championship.
Yeah, I mean, Shaun, you're going to pop your cherry with this one. How does it feel?
I mean, in the past I did do like Standard Chartered before 2019, but like I was like not aware of all these competitive elements of it. And I was just running to.
You were a basketballer then.
I mean, I was playing basketball most of my life. Up from primary school all the way up to even army and my first year of university.
Right.
Then I decided to make the change to running when I entered university.
Wow.
So,
okay.
What are some of the concepts, from basketball that you think you're able to transfer to running or relate to with running?
Oh, I ran a lot. I was in basketball training. So when I was in secondary school, my coach.
Some schools are like that.
Yeah, my coach made us like in secondary school made us run a lot before the training even started. I was in Temasek Secondary School.
Temasek.
But disclaimer, we weren't like we weren't really good. Like, we didn't really win a lot of games. But
Because
like,
you're exhausted by the time you play.
yeah, exactly. You know,
You were in
we,
the wrong spot. Volleyball is very
yeah, our secondary school team, like the basketball players, like we always won like the school, like the road races and stuff. But like,
No, I think this adds to your angle, right? Because I don't know many athletes from Temasek Secondary School that have gone on to represent Singapore in track and field at the SEA Games. So like, all your Temasek fan base should be out there like rooting for Shaun on Sunday. Yeah.
shout out
close
to
with that.
Masik Secondary.
Sounds like you got a new agent as well going on. Very well. What are some of your goals for this race? Ray, I'll start with you.
Very simple is try and win it. The national championship. I think I should be winning this race. No excuses if I don't.
Okay.
So I need to go out there and like get the job done. I think I prepared quite well. Training's gone pretty well. I've got experience to execute. So yeah, just
You've got a time
execute
of
well.
what, 2 hours 20, something like that?
My best time is 2 hours 22 minutes and 59 seconds.
Right.
But that
Wow.
was in the Valencia Marathon
Yes.
2 years ago. And I always say running a marathon in a cool weather like Gold Coast, Valencia, Berlin,
Yes.
Chicago, that's 42 kilometers. When you run in Singapore, it feels like 45 kilometers because of the heat.
It really
The
does feel that much
humidity.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
run easily 10 minutes longer. Easily 10 minutes longer.
Wow.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
same effort. And
Yes.
I always, I've never really cramped in an overseas marathon.
Okay.
Singapore, every single marathon, you will cramp.
You are because of the
I will
humidity.
cramp, yeah. I don't think I'm giving away any weakness by saying this, because everyone cramps in Singapore. You do a
Is
marathon.
that the
you just-
dehydration though kicking
Yes,
in?
yes.
Yeah.
You're dehydrated before you start the race. You know,
All right.
like, it's just hot by the time you get to the start line. Whereas like overseas, I finish the race and I can still like go and pee.
You're still all right. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
after in Singapore, your body is in shock from like 25k, 30k all the way to the end.
And this is them still starting at about 4 in the morning.
Gosh.
So, yeah, incredible. What about you, Shaun? What's your goal?
I mean, my goal is
Shaun's doing the half marathon.
Yeah, I'm doing the half
Yeah,
marathon.
that's a good distinction to make. Yeah.
I mean, on a personal note, I just want to make sure I get the most of my body that day. You know, it's more of like an effort goal and like personal. Like, I mean, obviously, I want to do well. Like, this is the first year I feel like I'm at a fitness level where I can compete against the stronger runners in Singapore. You know,
Yeah.
so I would like to see how I face up against the rest of the field. Yeah, so that's why Stanchart is a place where most of the stronger runners come and gather to race, and it's a good like test, good barometer to see where you stand.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Watch out for
Love
the
that.
Kenyans and the Ethiopians. They're the ones to.
And do they still
Sending
run
them.
barefoot? Some of them still run barefoot. Is that true?
Nowadays, not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the runner that made barefoot running among the Africans really popularized in mainstream media was Bikila.
Baby Bikila, yeah.
Baby Bikila. This was the Rome. I
Legend.
think it was the Rome Olympics.
Yeah.
On the cobblestones of Rome.
Amazing.
So won the Olympics. I think it was 1964.
Oh, so that was a while ago before
No,
Yeah.
64
we
was
had
Tokyo.
things like
60.
Nike.
60.
was
There
Rome,
we go.
yeah.
Wow, we got a historian here.
Well, my dad was a 64 Olympian, so that's why.
Oh, your dad was in the 64.
Yeah.
What sport was he?
Hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go. Yeah. Yeah, but even Bikila, by the time the next Olympics came around, he had shoes.
Right, there
All
you
right,
go.
so it's a thing of the past. I don't know
Yeah.
where I got that from.
But we had Haile Gebrselassie, right, a few years ago. He came down and did in the 10 kilometer. I've commentated at the Stanchart Marathon before,
I
so
see. Oh yeah, that's why your voice sounds so familiar.
that would be me.
Exactly.
It is the
with Steve
voice.
Cram, I was doing it
With Steve Cram,
yeah,
yes.
who's a legend as well, by the way.
Yes.
It's the voice of
Yes.
the sports god. Alrighty, more of Soh Rui Yong and Shaun Goh online. Join us there, facebook.com/1FM913.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
And I can hear Rui Yong as well. And Shaun, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on Facebook. Two wonderful fresh faces here in the studio joining us this morning. Soh Rui Yong, Shaun Goh. So welcome back. I understand you flew all the way back from the UK just to take part in the marathon. What were some, you said you were preparing for, you said you're well prepared or you're preparing well. What are some of the things that are involved in that?
Consistent training. I think that's first and foremost. I think especially here in Singapore, we do get carried away a little bit with all the gear, the latest fads and all that kind of stuff.
What are some
but
of those latest fads? What do you all get
I don't
caught
know.
up
I
with?
don't know. Like compression
Clearly, he's not into
tights. Yeah, compression tights. High altitude training masks and all that kind of nonsense. That I don't think you need all that. All you need is like consistent training.
Right.
You don't need there's no magic pill. There's no like special supplement. It's simple as training hard 2 times a week and jogging easy on the other days, letting your body recover and rest, nutrition, of course, but there's no magic pill. It's just consistent training and sensible training as well.
I like that.
So managed to get a few months of that in, and ready to go. Singapore Marathon is like this is a important race for me, but I'm really using it to build towards London Marathon in April.
Ooh,
so
exciting.
that's the really big
Which
one.
is going to kind of your new home marathon.
Yeah, second home marathon.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
And you've run that one before.
I run London before. I didn't run very well that year, so try and like make amends for that.
Are you?
next year, yeah.
You're not going in costume, right?
Costume.
Yeah, like a lot of them do in the London Marathon.
They do. I haven't thought of a good costume. Maybe one day I will. Yeah.
Shaun, what about for you? What are your training techniques like?
Yeah, I mean, as Ryong said, it's like you can't escape the hard work. Like, you know, you have to put in the consistent blocks of training. You know, there's no going around it. You know, it's pretty similar. You know, I run almost every day. You know, 2 sessions a week, 2 training sessions a week, 1 long run on Saturday. It's a simple formula that I think is quite standard for long distance.
Not
run.
2 training sessions a week. You mean 2 hard sessions a
2
week?
hard sessions.
You don't
a
run
week.
twice a week.
Yeah.
Okay,
2
'Cause
track sessions a week. Yeah.
That'd be very impressive if you ran twice a week and ran like that.
So the physical.
Walk in the park.
Yeah, the physical part of it you can't escape lah. Yeah, you have to go through it. And it's also like the mental preparation. I think the gap between like the preparation and execution is actually pretty big. You know, you have to. Some people can train as well as you can, but you know you can't perform on race day due to like anxiety or self. You know, you can sabotage yourself even on the last week of training. So all this is very crucial to make sure you like get to the start line healthy and with a sound mind and ready to race.
With a sound mind, I like that. A lot of it is mind over matter as well, right?
Yeah, it's very easy to get in your head. And in running, it's an individual sport. You know, you don't have teammates to kind of carry you through if you're having a rough moment.
So what are some of the thoughts that actually go through your mind? I mean, it's a long race.
Yeah, so definitely, especially when you're not as experienced, there's a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
So, you know, have I done enough training? Do I need to do anything more? Am I doing everything right? And easy to nowadays, you know, with social media and everything, it's easy to scroll through and see what other people are doing and feel insecure about what you're doing for training. And what you should be doing is focusing on what's best on you.
Yeah.
Not I'm doing my easy runs at, let's say, 5 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer. He's doing his easy runs at 4 minutes 30 seconds. Maybe I should run quicker, and then you start to tweak your training here and there before you know you mess everything up. Last week of training should be ready. Be trying to taper down, rest, and get ready. And then that's when you have even more time to get in your head because you have more time and more energy.
Social media.
and that's when people can really mess it up. So chill. If you're listening to this, just chill and get ready to race. Yeah. Underrated. Chilling.
That's a good point. I remember when I was commentating on this marathon, we talked about something called negative splitting, right? Which is where you want to start. You don't want to go too fast, peak, blow your load too early, and then you're exhausted by the end. Tell us a bit more about negative splitting, how that works.
I mean, it is generally like the encouraged way to run, you know, and a safe way to run it too. Like where you start at a conservative pace and you but you let your body warm up throughout the race, and then you feel good, and then you pick it up and you finish strong. You know, that's like the.
Is that why you guys are kind of looking at your watches and keeping an eye on the timings? Is it every couple of kilometers? I can't remember what it was.
Personal preference.
Okay.
But essentially, negative splitting, like Shaun said, means you run the second half of the race faster than the first half.
Right.
Hence, negative split, because you take less time for the second half than the first half, and it's incredibly hard to execute because. It's very 99% of people go off too quick because adrenaline.
That's the instinctive bit, isn't it?
Because you want to get ahead of everyone as well, right?
Yeah, and people don't know how to put their egos aside. They just go off with everyone else, and then before you know it, like you said, blow your load too early. Yeah. You get tired. Your second half of the race, you start to slow down gradually, and before you know it, you're crawling. So
hit the wall.
Exactly, hit the wall. Yeah. Whereas negative splitting means being sensible, like putting your ego aside, just focusing on what you have to do. It doesn't matter who's in front of you now. It matters who's in front of you at the end, or who you are in front of at the end. So that's what you got to do. Just be patient, and you practice this in training, right? And in training, we got all kinds of training partners. Some go out too fast, some go out too slow. We all trying to work together in a group so that we all are used to the pace that we need to run. So that when race day, you might be nervous, but once the gun goes off, muscle memory kicks in, you know what pace to run.
I remember this technique. Is it called fartlek technique or something?
You go fast and slow, fast and slow.
Yeah. It's called, it's an
it's
interesting
got a funny
technique.
name,
Yeah.
It's a Swedish word, sorry.
Fartlek.
Fartlek.
Yeah.
Speed play.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. This is all coming back to me now.
Yeah. So with fartlek intervals, long runs, you need some sort of combination of everything, some variation to A, keep training interesting, and B, keep stimulating different parts of your energy system.
As a result, right, during your race, do you get something called runner's high? I'm in the zone.
training, yes. In the race, maybe when you finish the race, because racing is incredibly painful.
Jogger's
Yeah.
nipple.
Sorry, what?
Jogger's nipple.
Jogger's nipple. Yeah, when it bleeds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very painful.
That's the painful bit.
I haven't really got it yet, but Vaseline helps.
Someone who runs as much as you
Vaseline
do?
helps.
Wow. Oh, Vaseline help. Okay.
Vaseline does help. Vaseline does help.
A friend of mine was starting out. He went for his very first Stanchart
Yeah.
marathon, and he came back with like bloody nipples.
Yeah,
and,
I don't have the biggest chest. You know, I'm an endurance runner. I weigh like 64 kilograms.
Wet, when wet, fully wet.
Yeah, but you know, if you have
we
a
still
bigger
talking
chest
about
and bigger chest and you're more muscular, yeah, you have more chance of getting. And I also finished the race like slightly quicker than
Sean's
everyone
like,
else.
Sean's like, what? What are you talking about? I don't have
Have you
any of
ever
that.
got jogger's nipple, Sean?
I think I had before. I don't know whether Rui Yong knows, but I've run like 2 marathons before. You know, even though I haven't really like raced competitively. Like, so I think the first time I ran, I did get a bit of the chafing
God.
because I was doing army. You know, I just signed up with my friends.
Right.
Yeah, then we just we
Gung-ho.
didn't really train for it. We
And
just
no one
ran.
told you about it.
Yeah, we just
That's why you're doing a half marathon.
Yeah, I was like, never
Half
again.
the pain.
Okay.
Sean was in the naval diving unit in NS.
Whoa.
So, yeah, it's a
How
tough
cool.
guy.
You need big lungs for that. Is that
Right.
why you can run? Because you need big lungs.
I would like to
I'm
say
sorry,
that.
How do you call it? Frogman.
Yeah, I would
Frogman.
like to say that it's the training in like NDU is quite aerobic focused even
Yeah,
compared
true.
to like
You gotta be
SCF.
fit.
Yeah.
It's more focused on physical fitness over like combat fitness. I feel.
All right, we're going to jump back live on air as well. Hey, send us any questions for Rui Yong and Sean at 88550913 or in the comment section, okay? On and Material Go. Boy, having such a wonderful chat on Facebook Live with Soh Rui Yong and Shaun Goh, our national runners. Let's give them a nice warm hooray and claps. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys mentioned NDU because someone clearly knows you, Sean has said. Character, super fit, lapping people in NDU with a cold-blooded, expressionless face. Are you a baby-faced assassin?
A baby-faced
man,
assassin? Ooh.
Baby-faced assassin. Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
like
That's a new
Actually,
one. That's a new one. You
Sean's-
can keep that one.
sounds
Looks quite innocent,
Like
then-
Stephen Curry. Yeah, I don't know. This sounds like
Stephen Curry.
Yeah, that's like his
Sean's
nickname.
idol.
Apparently, you were dubbed Saitama.
Yeah.
Saitama. What's this? What's this story?
Because that's like kind of my nickname in NDU because
This is from anime.
Yeah, this is this
Is it what?
it's just anime
One
character.
Punch Man or something.
Yeah,
One Punch Man.
yeah, it's this character in anime. It's almost like a parody of normal anime because
Okay.
he's like overpowered.
Yes.
And he just destroys enemy with like one hit.
Yeah, I heard of
Oh.
One
So it's like
Punch Man.
it looks
Yeah, of course.
effortless when he does it. So in army, I was like botak, no hair. Then I was running.
You are the
fast.
baby-faced assassin. I'm telling you. There you
Yeah,
go.
it was a fitting name, I guess, at the time.
Oh, you're one to look out for then,
And
Sean.
I have a bit of a resting the B-word face,
Okay.
So like,
No, you don't. No, you got a baby face.
Can you say that on there? Can you say it? I have a wrestling.
No.
Okay.
No.
yeah,
There
so
you go,
yeah.
Itch face. It's an itchy face, right?
Baby face. Resting baby face.
Yeah, that's perfect. There you go. Look, guys, what about tips for the community who, unlike you guys, you guys are competitive racers, professionals. What should they be doing to get a best personal time? It's a bit late now because it's only 3 days away, but what
Yeah.
should they be doing in the future?
Start training 4 months in advance at least.
At least
You know,
4,
Have
right?
have a macro plan, and then you like, where do I want to get to? Like 3 weeks before the race, and then from there you reverse engineer, like what do I need to do the week before, and then
Okay.
and then that way, by the time you extrapolate it, you realize you're starting really small, but you build a little bit every week.
Okay.
You build confidence, you build fitness, and yeah, I mean, at the start of my training cycle, I can't even run 2 kilometers at my marathon pace, but after like 16 weeks,
Interesting.
I'm running 42k at my marathon pace. Yeah.
Guys, if Rui Yong is having those isures, then
There's hope for the rest of us.
the rest of everyone else,
Jesus.
yeah.
At least I can make it to the toilet and back, not collapse. Yeah, no, just kidding. How about for newbies? This is going to be your first half marathon.
I've done a few half marathons. Like actually, I've done many half marathons before
Okay.
this, but like this is the first time I feel like I can compete and have a placing. Yeah.
How is that different for you going into this?
So definitely there's a bit more like expectation going to this one. Like previously I feel like I've always been just trying to be my personal best. Right? Or like with but this is the first time. Like we'll see how I stand against others.
Yeah.
So
I'll put Sean a bit on the spot here because like Sean's a very humble man. But this year we both went to the Valencia half marathon in Spain.
Yes.
And there I did quite well, but Sean had a massive run and ran below 70 minutes for the half marathon. And
Whoa.
historically, there are only 3 people who have run in Singapore who have run below 1 hour 10 minutes for the half marathon. That's myself, national record 66:45. Mok Ing Ren, who had the previous national record of 67:08 or whatever. And Shaun runs 69:32.
32, yeah.
And in Valencia, yeah.
Well done, Shaun.
So he's
Fantastic.
going into this race with a big target on his back because everyone is looking at him
He
as
just set you up now. He just set you up.
as one of the sub 70-minute half marathon runners in Singapore. And Mok is retired, so he's on like the active runners. Only 2 of us have.
But
run
you
below 70
you have
minutes,
also added a caveat earlier that because we're in Singapore, it's going to be slower than that, right? The 70.
super slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easily half marathon. You're gonna run like 3 to 5 minutes slower, depending on the course.
On that 69 minutes. Okay, so
Yeah.
about 72, 73. That's what you're aiming
that,
for.
that'll be
I think
ideal. If I
That'll
can
be a great time.
get
in
Okay.
yeah.
Singapore, yeah, a great time.
So agent and saboteur is our man here, Soh Rui Yong.
It's
Can
hype
add
man, you know.
Hype man, the hype man.
Can add that to your LinkedIn resume as well.
Oh, I know. I'm really good at it.
Ooh. Hey, how about for newbies, people who are about to take part in their very first marathon? What should they be looking out for?
Number one, be safe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about this. You're more of a newbie than I am. You can relate to them.
Ooh.
I mean, I think the most
Hydrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
make sure you have your pre-race stuff down. Nutrition. I mean, ideally you have a routine. Know how long before a race you should eat. Don't eat too near to the race. I think we heard before that.
I've had friends fall very ill the day after or on the day itself.
Yes.
After the run, they had high fever. They were like so hungry, dehydrated. Yeah.
Yeah, we hear those cases like people collapsing in a marathon, half marathon, especially young people also.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's important to that's number one, finish the race.
Safety
safe.
first.
I think because sometimes people are unaware, like when you're training on your own and it's fine, everything's fine and dandy, I'm making a certain timing. But then when you're in a race environment, it's a whole nother level. People are overtaking you and you're trying to
Stress.
be the
Yeah,
next person,
yeah.
you're trying to catch up. And that's a stress on your body. They don't
You-
realize
you,
that.
you push yourself to levels like higher than you would in training. Like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that? How should you manage that?
It comes to your experience. I mean, usually if you're new, it's hard to tell you to chill out and run slower. But I think the more you run, you know your limits. You know
Yeah.
what's considered like dangerous and when to ease up.
So like listen to your body.
Yeah, listen to your body. Yeah.
Always don't ever skip a hydration station if it's your first marathon.
Okay.
Always take sips of water at every
Right.
station
Right.
because
Good one.
in America, when it hits like 23, 24 degrees in a marathon, on the day of the marathon, I've seen them cancel marathons. They say, oh, this is like really hot weather. I'm like, wait,
24.
That's like
what are you
winter
talking
in
about? Like,
Singapore.
this is- Yeah.
Exactly. But that's contextually,
Ah.
it's extremely hot weather in Singapore to
Okay.
be running a marathon.
Right.
So it's actually dangerous
Yes.
to be running a marathon in Singapore. I think this is understated. Running marathons in Singapore is very dangerous. Endurance sports in our kind of weather is dangerous. So you gotta
Take all the precautions.
Yeah. You gotta be prepared. You gotta hydrate. You gotta stay safe. Pace yourself properly, and and don't bother about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, because end of the day, if you don't slow down and you do your race, you're gonna beat tons and tons of people.
We're
Yeah.
gonna just veer away slightly from the running for just a bit. Well, actually, no, kind of related. We're kind of
Yeah.
related. Well, Rui Yong, you're studying in the UK at the moment. You're doing a law degree. You've come back specially for this. How are you balancing? Because it's still term time. How are you balancing the books and the training and the running and all that? What do you do?
I think as far as I can do, practice good habits and good time management. Yeah, on top of it, I also actually work 3 jobs. So I'm with Under Armour, Pocari Sweat, and Takagi Ramen. So I'm a brand consultant for Pocari and
So
Takagi.
just the 5 things going on at the same time.
Yeah, 5 things going on at the same time. But you
no
know
sweat.
what? Like
Just
like,
Pocari sweat, no sweat.
Yeah, I mean, tons of university students
Yeah.
they may not admit it, but they don't do very much in their free time either. Like they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram,
I
they're
was
scrolling
probably
through.
one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of underutilized time as a
Yes,
student.
true.
Even if you're working a job, I mean, how many people have free time in the day when you're doing a job? Like
Downtime,
you
yeah.
could do a side hustle, you could read, you could
Sure.
do a ton of
Yeah.
stuff. And running is an easy sport. Like it's not a team sport where you exercise. Like basketball, I'm sure you practice like 4 hours a day or whatever, or 3 hours a day.
The barrier to entry is a lot lower,
Yeah.
definitely.
Running, all you need
good
is
point.
10 hours a week.
All you have to do is not fall over.
Yeah, exactly.
10 hours.
10,
Okay.
10 hours a week.
Okay.
Like, you give me 10 hours a week, I make you a good runner.
Right.
Wow.
Like, if you follow the program.
Shehzad, there's hope for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll commentate on these guys. I'm not gonna do that. We had a question in for Shaun, and it was from the saboteur. With work and running, Shaun, how do you find time to date? Guess who asked this question?
Oh, that was
None
me.
other than the man next to you.
Okay, I mean,
He contributed to this question. Very cheeky.
You should have told him that. Like, let him answer first. Then I said, yeah, I asked him that.
very cheeky question from Rui Yong. I mean, I like to say, like, I mean, in the past, people did ask me this when I was playing basketball too. I was very addicted to basketball. You know, where you get your girlfriend? You know, I would just say I'm married to basketball. You know?
Oh,
so
good
now,
answer.
So now I'm like married to this sport, lah. You know, this is like my new wife. You know, so yeah, I mean, my life is quite binary. It's just it's work, and after work, my social life is with the running community. You know. So.
Do you guys spend time together outside of races and stuff?
I actually only got to know Shaun this year because we were apartment mates at the SEA Games. Before
nice.
that, I had never met Shaun properly. Yeah, we were in the same races time.
I mean, I know him for a long time. It's like a parasocial relationship. You know, like I mean,
Yeah.
he's
He's good friends with my younger sister.
Oh.
Okay,
so
okay.
I heard of Shaun, but we didn't really get to interact until SEA Games this year. So that was cool. So we went to SEA Games and shared an apartment for like a week,
Nice.
8 days maybe, and then
I like the chemistry
know
between
them.
you two, like peas in a
Yeah,
pod, you
yeah.
know, teasing and jabbing each other. It's kind of fun.
No, it's
well,
good.
the
Like,
jabbing comes from me. He doesn't.
It's
really
it's definitely one way. I'm definitely seeing that.
well, I mean, he's been through a lot. So
working on that.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
always pick his brain, and he's always like open to giving me advice and giving I like to listen to stories and stuff like, about his running career. So
Sean, you're just so sweet. I'm sure there's more going on.
Oh,
underneath.
Rui Yong's got the stories.
One
all
day
right.
you're
He's
gonna
got the
unleash it
stories.
all. Hey guys, all the best for the Stand Chart
Thank you
Marathon.
very
It's such a
much.
pleasure
Thank
having you here in the
you.
studio. We wish you all the very best. Do us proud.
Break them
All right.
records, right? Break them records.
See you. Thank you. Bye bye.